In a few days, you're going to watch the biggest World Cup in history. 48 teams, 3 countries, billions watching. It will feel like the World Cup was always meant to exist. But the first World Cup almost died before it began. Most of Europe didn't want to go. One team only came because their king ordered them to. And the final was nearly derailed by an argument over the ball. So why did nobody want to play in the first World Cup? In 1930, football had a strange problem. Football was global before the World Cup was. It was everywhere, but it didn't have a world. The Olympics only allowed amateurs. Football was becoming professional. Rimet wanted something bigger. A tournament for countries, for professionals, for the entire world. One trophy every 4 years. So in 1929, FIFA sent invitations to every football-playing country on Earth. Then they waited. Out of every football nation in the world, only 13 said yes. And the country that agreed to host? Uruguay, a country smaller than the state of Washington. 2 million people. Choosing Uruguay looked ridiculous. For European teams, it might as well have been on another planet. But Uruguay had 3 things FIFA desperately needed: credibility, a celebration, and cash. They'd won the 1924 Olympic gold in football. Then in 1928, they won gold again. Uruguay wasn't a wild card. Uruguay was the best team on Earth. And 1930 was special. Uruguay was celebrating its centennial as a nation. So Uruguay made FIFA an offer they couldn't refuse. Uruguay would pay for everything: travel, hotels, meals, every team. They'd even build a brand new stadium just for the tournament, the Estadio Centenario, built in 8 months. It still stands today. FIFA had a dream. Uruguay had the money. The deal was done. But then came the silence. Italy, England, Germany, Spain. The football powers of Europe simply didn't come. Imagine announcing the first World Cup and the biggest names refused to show up. Some had no money. The Great Depression had just begun. Some had players who couldn't take 2 months off their day jobs. Some couldn't afford to lose their workers across the ocean. And some simply didn't believe this strange new tournament mattered. The World Cup wasn't the World Cup yet. It was just an idea. Except for one country whose players didn't get to decide. King Carol II of Romania was a huge football fan. Romania didn't qualify through hype. Romania qualified through monarchy. On June 21, 1930, the 4 European teams boarded a single ship, the SS Conte Verde, an Italian ocean liner. It left Villefranche in southern France, picked up FIFA officials in Barcelona, then Lisbon, then Rio, where Brazil also climbed aboard. By the time it reached Montevideo, 5 national teams had been on the same ship for 2 weeks. They trained on deck, ran laps around the ship, ate together, got seasick together. Imagine the German and French teams sharing a cabin for 14 days before the World Cup final. When the ship arrived, the entire city came out to greet them. The tournament started on July 13th, France versus Mexico. The first World Cup match in history. 19 minutes in, a French player named Lucien Laurent scored. Laurent was a factory worker. When the goal went in, the photographer wasn't ready. There's no picture of it. France won 4-1. Then the United States somehow reached the semifinals. Then Argentina crushed them 6-1. The final everyone secretly wanted was set: Uruguay against Argentina. Uruguay versus Argentina wasn't just a match. It was neighbors, pride, a shared river, decades of rivalry. July 30th, the final. The Estadio Centenario was packed. 93,000 people. The biggest crowd in football history at that point. An estimated 30,000 Argentine fans had crossed the river by boat just to be there. The atmosphere was so tense, border guards searched every Argentine at the gate. They found handguns. The most important football match in history hadn't even kicked off. And then they couldn't even agree on the football. Each team had brought their own ball. Different leather, different size, different weight. Each team demanded their ball be used. The referee basically said, "Fine, one half each." At halftime, Argentina led 2-1, using their ball. Then they switched balls. Uruguay scored, then scored again, then a third, then a fourth. Uruguay 4, Argentina 2. The first World Cup champions in history. Was it the ball? Probably not, but people argued about it for decades. Uruguay declared the next day a national holiday. In Argentina, riots broke out. The Uruguayan consulate in Buenos Aires was attacked. The two countries broke off diplomatic relations. This was the moment the World Cup stopped being an experiment. It became something people were willing to fight, travel, riot, and celebrate for. The first World Cup had its first myth. And even the trophy became part of the weirdness. During World War II, an Italian FIFA official hid the trophy in a shoebox under his bed. Nazi soldiers searched the house. They never found it. In 1966, the trophy was stolen in England. A dog named Pickles found it in a hedge. Pickles became a national hero. Brazil won their third World Cup in 1970 and kept it forever. 13 years later, it was stolen from Brazilian football headquarters. This time, it was never found. The trophy survived a war, a robbery, and a dog rescue, until even the trophy became a myth. The first World Cup didn't begin as a global machine. It began as a gamble. Traditions don't feel inevitable at the beginning. At first, they look like bad ideas. Empty seats, long journeys, people saying no. And then one day, the whole world stops for them. 13 teams, one ship, one unfinished dream, one king's command, one ship full of strangers, one argument over a ball, one trophy in a shoebox, one curious dog. The tournament nobody believed in became the one event the whole planet stops to watch. That's how the World Cup began.